Hello and welcome to another captaincy video and podcast of the 2021 season from Fantasy Football Scout. Game week 3 was a crazy week with many of our top captaincy choices blanking. We didn't do very well last week. Can we do better in game week 4? Let's hope so. My name is Joe and joining me is David. David, how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay, I guess, but a weird week, as you say. Captaincy didn't go particularly well for anyone really. I mean, Werner obviously was highly talked about, blanked against West Brom. De Bruyne blanked as well. Salah didn't blank, but it wasn't massive. So yeah, really strange week. I think a lot of mitigating factors were kind of thrown at us. I guess that we perhaps couldn't necessarily completely predict. And for each of those options, I guess I'll talk about those when we talk, because I mean they're all in the captaincy conversation again this week, right? So, yeah, just a strange week, and in my opinion, and that is just my opinion, it highlights how tricky the start of the season is because there's so much variance from one game to the next because we haven't had enough games to work out what all of the different like cast iron trends are yet.
No.
That it's quite easy for you to have a week where a lot of the captaincy candidates just don't deliver. So
Yeah.
as I said, I think we'll talk about the sort of the mitigating factors that counted against some of those guys last week when we talk about them this week. But yeah, for me, you've got to have a few more weeks before you make some big decisions. I say that really in reference to the wild card, really. But hey, we're talking about captaincy today, so let's
Yeah.
crack on.
It's going to be useful. There's going to be a few people who have wildcarded, thinking about wildcarded, currently wildcarding. So it's all interesting. One of the things I've noticed last season was some new players in certain teams can fit in seamlessly. So if they fit into a system, for example, Salah when he joined Liverpool, Michu when he joined Swansea, if they're fitting into a system or the system is designed around them, but then you get players like Werner, who's joining a new setup in Chelsea. He's got a new role and it's a different role, and then his role keeps changing, and then they're not sure what to do with him. And you've got Ziyech as well to come in, Pulisic as well. We haven't really seen what Chelsea actually look like. So in hindsight, it's probably not a surprise Werner
Yeah, although
let
I
us
mean,
down.
Werner obviously hit the bar, so sort of all roles aside, because I mean that's the thing is like it was the mitigating factors as you said. What his role is, he can score from the left hand side. We've seen that in Germany, and he nearly did score from the left hand side against West Brom. Found some space, absolutely leathered the ball at the goal, and if it was an inch lower, it's a goal. So as much as we talk about what we don't know yet, there has been some bad luck as well. So I guess we just have to take that in our stride, don't we?
Definitely, and that obviously makes Trossard 10 times the player Werner is if hitting the bar
Yeah.
is a criteria. But yeah, it just shows how tricky it is. We can't quite get a steer on where they are at the moment. KDB let us down as well. Let's start with him. He's against Leeds this time around. There's Sterling as well to consider. So Man City look great options on paper, but they were against Leicester. Leicester's defence hasn't been so great this at the beginning of the season. We thought we might get something from KDB last time, and we didn't. We thought we might get something from Sterling, possibly. We didn't. Come on, against Leeds, promoted side, surely KDB for the captaincy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean he's got a really strong case for it. I mean, to be honest, he had a strong case last week, but I think in the end, what I guess counted against Man City is just they didn't really have anything to aim at in quite the same way that they normally would. Um, what, yeah, when they don't have Aguero, it's fine because they've got Jesus. But when Sterling has to play centre forward, I actually don't think that Man City are as dangerous when Sterling has to play the centre forward role. So I also don't think Sterling is as dangerous when he has to play the centre forward role as well because it's not really what he's used to. And what the team lacks is someone like Sterling, kind of making penetrative runs on the left hand side or the right hand side, whichever side of the flanks. He's the guy that's going to kind of pop up by nature of his movement as a free man for the tap-ins. But if he's the centre forward, he's just marked out of the game, which makes life very difficult for him, especially. De Bruyne, I think it affects him less when people in front of him move around because they're still going to score goals. That's always going to happen. Are they going to do it with the same level of regularity without Jesus and Aguero? Perhaps not. But the law of probability is that De Bruyne is still going to be involved. He's still, playing this advanced role. His stats so far have been, more rounded than Sterling's in the sense that, he's created more chances than him. 9 chances that he's created and 4 shots on target. Sterling obviously only with 2. So he's definitely the better option there. All of everything I've just said about what they lack when they don't have those players, I think that's relevant when they play a bigger team. But as you've already mentioned, it's Leeds. So that, for me, kind of removes that caveat as being less of a factor for this week. Because we look at what Leeds have contributed defensively so far this season, and it hasn't been very good. Now, I think Leeds are a good team. I know there's loads of Leeds fans out there, so I don't want to get slaughtered. I think they're a great team. I think they're definitely going to stay up. But they operate on a system that's very much like risk versus reward. And so then that's great for their attacking assets. So, I mean, to be honest, if we're on the subject of this fixture, why not just go captain Patrick Bamford, to be honest, because, he's on fire and his defence is terrible. Klitsch is a penalty taker, Costa as well, and Harrison. Those 2 wide players are obviously I think they're going to cause City loads of problems. It's going to be a really open game.
Do you remember last season, Norwich against Man City? Yeah. Everyone thought Man City are going to hammer Norwich, and what happened? It was a pookie party.
Well, true.
Will it be a Bamford bash?
It could be. But what I think about what will happen in this game is I actually think that it will. I don't really know who's going to win, but I can tell you now there will be loads of goals. It just has to be, because both of these teams play a risk versus reward system. Which, as much as the thing is, if we're talking about how good Man City assets are or what their opportunity is this week, the fact that I'm talking up Leeds' attacking assets and the fact that they get so much opportunity to do damage to opposing teams is because they do leave themselves open at the back. So that's great for Man City assets too. So in terms of the stats that we're seeing, because it's borne out in the stats too. You watch it in the eye test, you see Leeds give up chances. It's in the stats as well. So in the first 3 matches, they've conceded 33 shots in the box. Only West Brom have conceded more than that. They conceded 8 big chances. Again, only West Brom conceded more there. In terms of shots on target, it's a little bit lower. It's 16, but they're still bottom 5. And their XGC, 5.9. Which also is the second worst behind only West Brom. So recurring theme there is that this team's given up a lot of chances. Man City are always going to create quite a lot. So, De Bruyne is, for me, I think, the front runner.
Yeah, I think so. It depends what they do with their a false 9, perhaps. I don't know. But I would like to see Sterling where he normally operates, and Man City not being sort of square pegs in round holes. But looking at that Leicester game, KDB had created 3 chances, had 2 goal attempts, and that Leicester loss. So, being no slouch there. So I'm certainly not giving up on him yet for the armband. I'm expecting a bounce back, and you mentioned those stats about Leeds as well. Leicester have conceded 4 big chances, as you said. Leeds have conceded double that amount so far. So we're talking, they're not like, say, Fulham or West Brom. They have a lot of firepower though. So as you said,
they're going to stay up, no problem.
Oh yeah,
it's just they're going to concede goals as they do it.
I was following Leeds fans. I follow on social media. Tony was telling me about Bielsa's techniques in training called murder ball, which apparently is so intense. It sounds absolutely frightening, and I'm surprised they don't all conk out. But basically, they're very fit, they're very determined, they're very attacking. This could be a tough match, but I'm not saying tough as in they're not going to score lots of goals. Lots of goals. I'm going for it. I'm up for it. But there are other options. Ings at Southampton. Now, West Brom are the whipping boys. That's it. First 3 game weeks so far, I say they are the whipping boys.